meet Sham about 96, 95 at Arrows. It was a dub plate session, I think for Amplex. And at the time I had a song called Girl Say Yes.
Girl Say Yes. Enough girl get so sexy when they
and they wanted me and Sham to do a dub. So that's how I ended up meeting Sham now, and I hear Sham sing the little song and I said, oh, the little song you're bad. I said, look, you're a creative and thing, and Sham was a big fan of me from then, so it was a great vibe. So me and Sham to link up now, and he's always vibrant and he's militant. Sham is a youth. If you see him power, he's a little soldier. He know how to carry himself. But it's like Sham vibes, and from this on, me and Sham start our understanding, and him start coming jam his kind of him uncle at Waterhouse.
That was like 5 minutes away from my uncle's studio, which was Studio Mix. And that's when I met Bounty Killer. So I met Killer before I met Dave. You know what I mean? I was in my school uniform at the time, but to go home from Calabar to Duane Park, Sherlock Crescent, I had to pass Waterhouse. So I would stop over by my uncle, leave my bags there, run from my uncle's studio around to King Jammy's, and there I would just be hanging out with Killer and his friends, and we just form a friendship, you know what I mean? A good friendship. It wasn't like I was asking him to introduce me to any producers or anything. It was just real friendship. At that time he had New Gun, Big Shot, Bad Boy, a burst, and when a man back him gun, you better run.
Like a river Jordan a come down. Big for me pop out, me gun volley pop. Blood a go run, X amount of people life a go. Murder clash, pick up a shot. Remember me telling no trust that. Boy, free that.
And just by going into the studio and seeing him move and how him do dubs and them thing, it's like he start just like a sponge. Like a fly on the wall or a sponge in the room, you're just soaking up all of the energy, kind of watch where him take breath, watch how aggressive he got on a certain word or a certain punch, you know what I mean?
Then I took him on them a wing now and see that he's very brilliant and him learn easy and him disciplined and him dedicated and him want it. Him desire, him know what he want. And from this me and him start work now, and everything myself him do, him follow instruction, and we start take on the street, start a street dance, some could get to places, go DJ for free.
Sure. We're Sham the car, we don't waste of time, you know. Big up the president, you know, the house 7 time presidential click. Hey yo, yellow, rhythm track. Hey yo, nippy cut. Down here. Wow. But TT, what was the peace and them say war? Them say war, them a bring them.
From this the vibes just build up on the Bounty Killer and Baby Sham momentum.
Him right there and then him kind of take to me, you know what I mean? And him would tell the security whenever Sham come, let him in, you know what I mean? Because at the time, it's not everyone was allowed to be on Bounty Killer session, because you have to understand the jam is found a new sensation. So they were kind of protecting him, and no one could get close to him. And I was one of the only schoolers who could get in the room when he was working, whether voicing or recording or whether he was doing dubs, you know what I mean?
From this on home, and him just take on as a little party, and we started about Dave, and automatically link up with Dave and we'll do the first song, and boy, from this on, it's some other thing.
First song we did with Killer was What This Boy. Sham was friends with Killer. He would always be singing Killer's song on whatever beat we were working on, and he would kind of like fantasize on how awesome it would be for Killer to be on our rhythms and be produced by myself. Back then, Killer and Beenie Man were bitter rivals, but I already had a working relationship with Beenie Man and several hits under our belt. But Sham was persistent, and he keeps saying, yo, if you and Killer collaborate, the world wouldn't be ready for it yet. And Sham made the link. We built a relationship after that, and the rest is history.
Start work with Madhouse directly, and the juggling them start coming.
Sham and Rodney Killer have a special relationship. They're close. Them the brothers. It's deeper than just music. Sham know his mom, have a special relationship with his mom. He have a special relationship with all the Killer sister them, Killer brother, Bali, all of them and stuff like that. So it's deeper than music.
They see us everywhere. We have the same type of cars. We dress almost the same. He's in black, I'm in the colored, but it's the same look, it's the same vibe. We are in concerts together. You don't see one without the other, you know what I mean? We live in the same apartment complex. It's like just brothers be. From morning till night we would see each other because we'd get up in the morning, we'd be on the sands together. Me and Killer used to go to the sands same way with Bingy Blair, and we'd jog out by Bull Bay, Cable Out Beach every morning and do bearings after. We'd leave there, coming back, eat some porridge. By time 9:30, we in the studio doing dubs, leave the dub studio, run by the time we finish dub studio, we at Madhouse Records, eat some lunch, go get some patty, whatever it is, you know what I mean? So we basically were living together, basically.
We basically do what comes natural. We basically have fun in the studio. You know, we don't have preconceived expectations of a song, or we don't go in the studio and try to make a hit or trying to make a song to fit into a particular niche or whatever. We go in the studio and we just vibe and we let the creative juices flow and we record it. Sham, you know Sham, we push the envelope with Sham so much, you know. There's always something fun and always something creative and different about what we do with Sham. I mean, we try to do it to everybody.
Me and Dave would sit and plan my show from day one. So Dave is the person that I used to call or text and say, yo, look on the show, Lisa. My first show. Dave is the person who says, Sham, the mass is hot now. Yeah, that's the first single. You don't need to run out on Sumfest, you know what I mean? And that was a big problem with me and Wayne Wonder because he wanted me to perform. He wanted me to perform on Sumfest with him because the mass was hot. And there's this new kid that was blazing up the charts.
With Sham, you know, when Sham came in my presence, it's like my younger brother, because for me in Jamaica, like all of my siblings they migrated, so it's like I was like a loner, you know what I mean? So when Sham came amongst me, it was like, you know, a brotherly thing, my little brother. And Sham has this hunger, always have this hunger, you know, to progress in the music, and you know, him really execute that type of energy. Always have this hunger for it. So it was always that type of energy when we knock heads together, you know, and you know, the outcome is amazing.
Our goal at the time and Dave's vision was not just for me to run out on Sumfest, which was the biggest show in Jamaica at the time, just to do one song, but to put together a catalog where I could do at least 15 songs.
My job is for him to realize his full potential. Sham is one of the most dedicated artists I've ever worked with, one of the most focused artists I've ever worked with, and one of the most professional artists I've ever worked with.
And if you leave a lick up where can back, then when you lick up food like shark, what you want? Yeah, that one.
I've watched him grow from that kid that used to come to the studio in his school uniform into this consummate professional.
So we know the genius is him that Dave has. We need founders and pioneers like Dave to give this generation another revival or another reminder or some blueprint, some scrolls for them to find or pick up some time to come.
Dave is the one that basically showed me all these things that the artists need to put together a catalog. You don't have one song and you think you're at. You don't have two songs and you think you're at. You need to get at least 5 or 7 where you can do a real show. You can do a 25-30-minute show where it's nothing but fire, 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 fire. You understand? So Dave Kelly has done everything for my career. I couldn't ask. The only thing I could ask for more is more songs. I remember I used to want to do more songs every time, and he would say, yeah, but an artist is as great as his last song. Was your last song not a hit? And when you really think about it, he was right with everything, you know what I mean? He was right with everything along the way. A lot of time we had our disagreements, and the disagreements was never ever monetary. It was never ever not like that. It was just musical. Music, like, and when I say musical, I'm not talking about this rhythm or that rhythm. It was always me wanting to do more songs, and he's saying it's all about quality over quantity. And today, I'm stuck. I believe in that. That's our philosophy. It's quality over quantity, and I think that's what makes Baby Cham stands out so much. Because when you think about my catalog, it's like hits after hits after hits and classics after classics after classics. And if we never have quality control over my career and my catalog, it wouldn't be like that. So Dave means everything and has been everything for my career.
It probably seems impossible now, but our rhythms used to last a full year or more, and we had like round 1, round 2, and sometimes 3.
In the 90s, that's how Dave used to do it now. He put out 2 juggling on each rhythm. Like put out 6 songs 6 months ahead, and then put out 6 songs after 6 months. 6 in the summer and 6 in the Christmas.
So we'd have round 1 and round 2. So we drop a rhythm, I would have like 5, 6 songs on it, juggling, and you know, after 6, 7 months or whatever, we'll drop another round on the same rhythm, different songs, sometimes the same artist with some additional artists and all of that stuff. So when we drop Bug, Killer look into my eyes.
Look into my eyes, tell me what you see. Me have to rate every youth to hold the faith, cause we have to make Jamaica feel proud.
Next juggling, and we excited, got the rhythm runway. If it's in 1999 when we sing the song against Gringo, the momentum we create, I fully loaded. So if we record on the rhythm there again, it would be so exciting because that was my biggest song for 1999.
The end of that year, going over into the beginning of the next year, was when we were supposed to drop like the round 2 of that. Now, it was always a dream of mine to record Shabba. And I had this song that if Shabba did a song, if the song drop, it's gonna be something totally epic.
We did a concert with Shabba Ranks, and Shabba came to me backstage and said he wanted to meet Dave Kelly. He needed to do something with Dave. And that's how I came back to Jamaica and tell Dave that, yo, Shabba Ranks want to link. Anyway, the link made, and Another Level was written basically for Shabba Ranks. Shabba Ranks, Another Level was written for.
Neville, Uncle Nev, made the link. Shabba liked the idea and decided that he was interested in was coming to Jamaica to record the song. Anyways, him flying and he come Jamaica.
And because of some stupid politics, Shabba didn't turn up to the studio. And that's when Dave said, you know what? I think everything worked for a reason.
You know, we're not going to waste the song because we know this song is a hit song. We know anytime people hear this, it's going to be special. It's going to be a classic instantly. And so we say, you know what would be epic is if
you and Killer should do this song. And that's how Another Level became Another Level. It wasn't something that was planned. We knew we had to do a combination. We had to do a collab together because the street wanted it.
So if we go again on the rhythm, we never have no question. No matter who the song did make for me, just ready for put another song and then listening to the song tough. Because it's a real serious piece of anthem. It's an anthem till this day.
Can't hold it back, can't hold it back. Bounty Killer and Baby Cham with a brand new track. It's been long gone.
People the fans were always saying, boy, Another Level is a special combination, you know. Nothing like that was done before, and we have not done it since. And they're always saying, how come they don't do another song together? And they know that, people know that Sham and Rodney Killer have a special relationship. They're close, them like, you know, they're brothers.
But people been asking for this collaboration ever since. Ever since me and Baby Sham have a little fallout in the early 2000s.
Boy, I tell him what me say. Well, make me tell you no Sham. Me no hide and show one. Me come in at the middle of the road and bust me blood clots cut.
And then we reunite a few years after. People are always saying they want another collaboration, they want another level or whatever. So I think it's a time now.
So we decided that, you know, maybe we'll just do something like that to commemorate this event and, you know, give the fandom something special.
The inspiration behind this project right now that we're working on, first thing first, it's Dave's idea to get us away from distractions, whether it's myself at home or Killer at home, and he has to do regular fatherly duties, or myself have to do regular fatherly duties, or the man of the house duties. Dave decided that he wanted us somewhere that we wouldn't even have to be thinking about none of that. We could just be here and think about music, nothing but music and the work that needs to be done. You know what I mean?
And so we decided to just take a month off and just go to the Bahamas and just make music. The primary reason for doing that was just to switch off from the chaos and everyday life, being on the hamster wheel, and just stop for a minute, just reconnect with each other, reconnect with nature, and make some music.
As we always did, whenever Bounty Killer and Baby Sham and Dave Kelly link up, it always some musical magic comes out. So that's why we expected to come out of this. Nothing less. The same process, same flame.
Baby, baby. Baby, your loving gives me fever. You make me feel like I wanna love you, wanna love you, wanna love you, wanna love you, wanna love you all night. Baby, your love is like tequila. My pussy clot.
Me and Dave always say Bahamas feel like Jamaica. You know what I mean? But it's more peaceful and more calm. Yeah. I knew that if we could get Rodney out of Jamaica, just to come and work and focus on music, it would go to a next level, because we know the power. We know the power Rodney have, like, vocal-wise, he's one of the baddest DJs ever.
Blood clot, here things happen and nobody not talk. And somebody killer them a move so dark. And when them a hunt like hawk, no man and no kids can walk, make me cause blood clot.
But if you can get him away from the distraction in Jamaica, you know what I mean? Get him away from the noise, where he can just lock in and focus on the music, we know that would be like a time bomb. Yeah, so that's why we are here, you know what I mean? We are here to take it to a next level, another level.
So we just rent a house, and we just set up a studio, and we just have fun.
The daily vibe with me and Rodney in the house. So we're here living in the same house. And to me, it feels so natural. A lot of people say Rodney and they would even know. The man, they get up every day and cook, you know. When the man, they cook the pot steamy, well steamy, me I tell you that. You talk about a man where people think a straight bleacher. And the man, they get up every morning. If I forget him tea in the morning, the man, they put on some porridge. By midday, you know, say some fish are steam up, or some brown stew chicken, or some curry chicken. You know, it's just one big family, yo. You talk about whole supermarket together, you have people in the supermarket cannot believe say that's Bounty Killer and Baby Sham shopping. And it's me pushing the trolley or him pushing the trolley, it doesn't even matter. We just a whole vibe, and we just live like one, like two brothers just live. And I think that is what Bahamas has given us, you know what I mean? Just that peaceful tranquility vibe where we can just chill. We can just chill and just do what we want to do.
And so we're here in paradise, underwater. We just have a house and a studio, and we just cook, and we just make music, and we just have fun. You know, we drink, we laugh, we run joke, we ride bicycle, we go to beach. You know, we just having fun and make it flow organically and natural, like it used to.
Dancehall is more than a genre. Dancehall is more than entertainment. It's the heart of the culture. Dancehall is a way of life. So when two of the greatest to ever do it decide to collaborate on a project, there's only one way to think about it. There's only one way to characterize it. The only way to describe it is, this is a time bomb.